God has a way of growing us in situations that we wouldn't necessarily choose. And I think that he is probably really, grown a lot of selflessness in both of you. Tell us, what are some other good things that you've been able to see that has come out of this whole situation of walking through illness?
What's up, YouTube fam? It's Dana Shea with Real Relationship Talk, and I'm bringing you guys a little snippet of a vodcast that I just did with my cousins, Chris and Tammy Satterfield. And we are in a marriage vows series on the podcast, and we're breaking down the marriage vows into each phrase. And today's phrase, we are talking about in sickness and in health. Tammy actually is going through a cancer battle right now, and I really thought that this was an important conversation to bring to you all for those who are facing sickness in your marriages or will face sickness, or maybe you have a friend or a family member that is married and they are going through some sort of serious illness. I hope that this interview or this video encourages you, and be sure to listen to what Tammy says about sex when you're sick. I thought this was really, really good perspective. All right, let's jump into our conversation.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I just want to, this always happens. Whenever I get off a podcast interview with somebody, we'll just start chatting and they drop I'm like, ah! So just keep talking. Act like I didn't hit record. Okay. I might not use this, but I might. I'll let you know if I do.
The extra. Yeah, I just, I remember I, went through divorce, and that was like rejection from a husband. And then, going through going through cancer, I felt like that was rejection from God. So I can't imagine, and I don't want to say this because you say, well, I could never, but because the grace of God will definitely get you through. But I know that those were two of the toughest battles in my mind of, man, I felt I was rejected on all sides, like being rejected on all sides. So that's definitely something I will pray for, because the mind is a battleground. Yeah. It's a battleground. Yeah. And the toughest battles in my mind of, man, I felt I was rejected on all sides, like being rejected on all sides. So that's definitely something I will pray for, because the mind is a battleground. Yeah. It's a battleground. Yeah. And if you can, I sit at night and I listen to this this meditation at night, every night, don't I, Vay?
Yes.
It's a meditation. I turn it on and I listen to it every single night, because I need for my mind to be whole. Mm-hmm. I need to go to bed and sleep well, and then be able to wake up in the morning and be ready for whatever's preparing for the next day. So if it's chemo, you need to be mentally strong, you need to be physically strong, both of those things go hand in hand. So taking care of your mind during this process is extremely important too. And being able to cast down negative thoughts are extremely important, and to understand what's real and what's not real are very, very, very important.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. Joyce Meyer wrote a book years ago called Battlefield for the Mind. And, that's what I started thinking about when you were talking about that, and then the scripture, of course, came to my mind. So we take every thought captive, right? Because it's, I can imagine, is my husband still attracted to me? Am I a burden to him? Does he wish that maybe he was with somebody else? All those thoughts that go through your mind. And then God knows, Chris, the thoughts that are going through your mind, Yeah. And so when you guys are able to come together instead of pulling apart, I think that's where that's where the beauty of God's grace is seen. God's grace isn't seen because you're quoting scriptures. God's grace is seen because you're living it out.
But it's one of those things like what Tam just said. I mean, even the husband or whomever the spouse, the caretaker, is or what have you, they can also feel rejected too, just based off of some of the internal thoughts, that their partner may have or what have you. And, they may have these internal thoughts. They may not necessarily say them out loud, but there will be different actions. And it's kind of like, what in the world? So, and then you have a conversation. Oh, you try? Yeah, I'm attracted to you. You don't act like, I haven't said it, I haven't done it, wada yada. And it's just before you know it, it's well, good gracious, am I attractive or am I such and such as well? So I think both partners can go through that. And it's also a mental challenge for the caretaker as well too. I mean, I've been in therapy. I've had to do a lot of work as well too, and it's a lot of work, But like Maury said, that the battlefield of mind is very, very strong. People take it lightly. That's why I love I think it's a T-shirt talks about therapy and God. You know what I mean? Because I think you really do need both. That therapy aspect gives you from a practical level, being able to live day to day and those things there, of course, God from the spirituality. We can't see God, but we have the spirit of God in us and those things there. But some people are like, listen, I understand I got the spirit of God, but I need to talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, before I go cuckoo, because I need them to hear me. At least I need to vent or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important, very important.
And I want to say this because I think that you say something that's so like good, rejection. Like, don't be afraid to have tough conversations, right? And especially because you're still human at the end of the day, both of you, right? Like his sexual needs that he has, and I still have needs that I have sexually or non-sexually. And so I think like initially, and even now, like we still struggle with because chemo does give you such an imbalance in sexuality. I'm in this group and some of them are like, I have no desire for sex. And I'm like, but then, you have to remember that there's also still another party over here that has needs and has desires and that has wants. And so I think it's important that the spouse that has wants, whether you're the one that's sick or whether you're the one that's not, that you still talk about those things, because the last thing you want to do is try to be upholding one end of the vow, but then be breaking another end of the vow because you haven't had good communication and talked about the needs that you have and you weren't able to be honest with your partner. So if it is more sex you need, talk about it and figure out how you guys can get to a good point or to a point where you both are satisfied in the marriage. And maybe for the wife, if it's just more like, I need more attention, or I need you to tell me more that I'm beautiful, or like whatever it may be, make sure you're communicating that so that you're still getting what you need out of the marriage.
That's good stuff. That's great. That was worth the price of admission right there. So, all right, you guys. Well, thank y'all so much.